Commanding General of U.S. Army Europe. I'd like to thank you all for attending today. We're very proud of what is occurring today with the deployment of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, which, as General Ray said, is a visible sign of the continued U.S. commitment to peace and security and prosperity on the continent of Europe. What is significant about this deployment is this Brigade Combat Team is bringing all their equipment from the States. It is enabling us to build additional readiness within the United States Army and also readiness within our NATO allies. By bringing their equipment from home station, you're able to see the complexity of this operation, the ships on both sides of us. We're able to exercise the strategic lines of communication. We're able to exercise all that it takes working with our allies to have freedom of movement and speed of assembly so we can move where needed to ensure we are ready to maintain the peace and deter any potential adversaries. At this time, I'd like to introduce Major General Dwayne Gamble from the 21st Theater Sustainment Command, which is truly the brains behind this complex logistical operation.
Good afternoon, my name is Major General Dwayne Gamble. I'm the Commanding General of the 21st Theater Sustainment Command. We're headquartered in Kaiserslautern, Germany. It's our mission to receive, stage, and onward move this brigade from the port of Bremerhaven to Poland, where it'll prepare to exercise and conduct operations with our NATO allies. We'll do this over a 10-day period. Currently, we're on the morning of day 3. We'll do first, the deployment started at home station on 3 vessels, 2 of which you see here docked at the port. The first vessel has already been downloaded and has departed this station. We'll move them forward from this location via rail and convoy while the soldiers fly from home station direct into Poland and prepare to receive this equipment, where the unit will then prepare to configure its equipment for training and exercises across Eastern Europe. We'll have a convoy as well that will traverse Germany. That convoy will leave tomorrow, and those soldiers will operate their vehicles across Germany and into Poland to link up with their parent brigade. The last piece is we couldn't do this without our allies, our host nation Germany, that enables everything the U.S. Army does in Europe. Germany is our center of gravity in Europe, and our great alliance and our great allies in Germany for the past 70 years have enabled everything we do here, to include the city of Bremen, who facilitate our operation with this incredible capability at the port of Bremerhaven. With that, I would like to introduce one of my allies, Brigadier General Zimmer, the commander of the German Logistics Command.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brigadier General Winfried Zimmer, Commandant of the German Armed Forces Logistics School. And with that school, we are belonging to the Joint Support Service. And with the Joint Support Service, we are happy to give support to our American allies for that very important exercise and operation here in Germany towards Poland, so towards the east flank of the NATO. We are serving the Americans by providing movement control, military policemen, as well as logistical support. Also in my school in Garstedt, there we house right at the moment around about 400 American soldiers plus 600 vehicles. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'll open the floor to questions. Yes.
Hello, hi, my name is Jarosz Polechowski, I'm from Polish Public Television, and I have a question to General Ray. Can you tell us how many rotations are already planned?
Can you go to the microphone, please?
So as we said earlier, that this is continued effort. So we have a great deal of effort going on all over Europe, from the maritime, special operations, land, and air. This particular operation will be followed very closely by an aviation brigade that will be coming in. And we intend to keep these rotations, as we say, heel to toe, so one after another. We'll keep a steady presence here. Further details, I'd hand you over to General Warren.
Well, just to add upon what General Ray said, this is heel to toe, which means before this brigade redeploys, another Armored Brigade combat team from the United States will deploy with all their equipment. So once again, we're getting additional repetition in so we can learn. It's been fantastic. On already, we're doing what we call after action reviews, in which we're able with our allies to talk through how could we do this even quicker in the future. So I think that's significant, that what the heel to toe aspect is, before they depart, another unit will come, and we're going to make sure we are learning. And so every day we're conducting hot washes so we can determine, once again, how do we do this even quicker in the future. To reference your question on what the brigade will be doing, initially they will be assembling in Poland. They will be going through in tactical assembly areas activities to make sure they are ready to fight, and that means they're able to shoot, move, and communicate. They'll also go into a training, some training exercises with the Polish Armed Forces, and then the brigade will move out to locations from Estonia down to Bulgaria and Romania. And then during the course of their 9-month deployment, we'll bring, once again, mass the brigade together so they can practice, once again, the speed of assembly and exercising the criticality of freedom of movement. But throughout their 9 months, one of the great things about deploying state forces from the United States is they're going to be able to work hand in hand with our allies throughout NATO. So both from the Polish armed forces, but also here in Germany, throughout the Baltics, and also the Black Sea. So we're very excited.
So it's first but not the last rotation.
Right now it is heel to toe.
Yes.
Kwiatkowski, TVN Poland, Mr. Maguire.
Yes.
And I want to ask you about this operation. Is it the biggest operation, military operation, biggest for logistic operation? And second one, what this equipment will be in Poland?
Yeah, in terms of the scope of the we have had deployments of armor brigades in the last several years. This is the third armor brigade to deploy, but the significance of this is they are bringing all their equipment from the United States, and that is a commitment in showing the resolve of the American people and the commitment to the alliance to bring their equipment is able to exercise the strategic lines of communication. So, this unit, and now I would like to introduce Colonel Chris Norrie, who is the brigade commander who will be heading to Poland. But this unit had an extensive train up in the United States. They spent a month at our National Training Center, once again building their combat readiness. And then they went back to home station in Fort Carson, Colorado, got all their equipment on rail to move it to the port of Beaumont, loaded the 3 ships that you see here at the port, and then now we're going through the same process getting out to Poland. So that degree of complexity is one that we have not done in Europe here for quite a while, but does show the global interest of the United States, and we are similarly having brigades doing similar deployments to Korea and throughout the Pacific. So this is, once again, building readiness of the United States Army, the joint team within the United States, but also our allies and partners here within the alliance.
Next.
John Benham with Stars and Stripes. This is for John Wright. You talked about how this force is just part of, in response to the new security environment in Europe, and part of wanting to deter Russian aggression. At the same time, we've heard a lot of criticism from Moscow. This is an escalation. This is a provocation. Is there concern it could go the other way? That this could increase tensions?
I believe the story started back in the 2014 time frame, back in the February-March time frame, when Crimea was annexed and parts of eastern Ukraine were destabilized. It was then that the U.S. and European leaders met in Warsaw and discussed what to do about that particular situation. Back then, they decided it was time to invest, and the United States has invested money both in 2015, 16, and now well over $3 billion in the 2017 time frame. So this is a continuation of a plan that stemmed from that one event. So our contributions and our investments in that arena are multifaceted. It is, like this, a very important rotational presence, a very clear signal. It's an increased exercise capacity and focus. It is spending
does show the global commitments of the United States Army and the United States of America. And once again, I'm very proud that we're a member of NATO, and I'm proud of our commitment for 70 years to peace and stability here in Europe. But this unit has recently been focused on the Middle East. They just got back from the National Training Center, which is in Fort Irwin, California. And Fort Irwin, California, for any of you who have been there, I believe there is 3 trees in the entire training area. So it's in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And so why tan? One, that's optimized for training at the National Training Center, and we have not had time to paint them. So it was a conscious decision because of their training path and the need to get them here as scheduled in January, that part of it is just do not have time to paint them green.
I have time for one more question. Or not. Oh,
Just a quick
John.
one for General Gamble. This is a big logistical effort that's going on. Can you talk a little bit about what you've learned so far in this early stage? Lessons learned, hiccups along the way to speed it up next time.
Yep, thanks for your question. So in terms of what we've learned, it starts with our plan. Our plan was to take an end-to-end view and build the speed of response, or the speed of assembly as we call it, starting at home station. So each of these vehicles, as you see them arrayed here in the port, they're lined up by train, and we knew what train they were going on, or which convoy they were going on when they left Beaumont, Texas. And so we've arranged them by train load or convoy in order to facilitate Colonel Norrie's build of combat power in the assembly area. So we've set a very aggressive, very high bar for ourselves in terms of the speed. So what we've learned so far is the transition from ship to ground, and then ground to rail. There are some friction points in there. We've been able to work our way through those friction points. We've learned that a best practice is this end-to-end view, understanding how the force will be employed, and have that extend all the way back to home station, and how the ships are loaded. The stow plan reflects how we envision employing the force, in this case into a training exercise. And we've also learned that weather has an impact. We had freezing rain and ice over the last 24 hours. We've factored in time to react to that, and so far our plan is going quite well. I think in terms of speed in the future, the second part of your question is to identify those best practices, codify them, and use them for future deployments. I think one lesson learned so far is that maybe the departure of the first train, which by the way is halfway across Germany now, headed to Poland, maybe we delay the loading of that first train by a couple hours, because we found ourselves, and we planned it this way, that we were literally downloading the first ship and right onto the first train. So the precision in that took a lot of planning, and frankly it worked fairly well, but I'm not sure that's sustainable for brigade after brigade after brigade. So we have to decide if we take a little bit deliberate approach on the front end in the future to maintain momentum throughout the operation. There'll be 37 trains leaving here and Bergen-Honey over the next 10 days. 2 of them have departed Bremerhaven already. 2 more will depart tonight, and we'll have that same kind of rhythm over the course of the next 10 days. It's 24-hour operations. Soldiers are operating in pretty tough conditions, but we've been able to work our way through that, and the soldiers are doing tremendous, keeping the mission as well as our civilian partners. The rail company that supports us, the stevedores here that are supporting us, everybody's been able to accomplish the mission despite some challenging weather effects, despite 24-hour operations. And so, I'm pretty proud